Hello, I'm here to show you a video on how to install your ASI Pros that we have here into a metal housing that we also have, which is this. And it uses a 75mm Vega pattern on the back of those. In order to get that monitor to fit in there, what we will need to do is there'll be a little block here that I'm going to provide, and also on the back the ASI Pro has a little metal back plate that has one screw here. You'll want to install that back plate because along with that and this will give us the perfect distance we need so that when the frame is put onto this housing, that the frame will rest right up against this monitor. And so I'm going to show you how to do that real quick here. We'll be sending some 4mm screws with that. Let me grab a screwdriver. Right up here I do have a top marked because this monitor has several holes you can see on the back of it. This small long rectangular hole will be the top of this monitor. So you'll take your monitor, the cables are the bottom, this is the top. Actually, I think it's easier if you set it with the top up. You can kind of see through the back of this monitor and line up the holes in the back of that. There's 4 holes also in the back of that monitor. Get those snug. Kind of look in the front and just kind of make sure along here, if you'd like, and take a tape, that the distance along here is level. So with that, I'm going to set that out of the way now that that's attached. Also providing you with a template that you'll use to cut the holes in the wall. And what's nice about this template is we'll be sending you self-centering bits that will allow you to put these 4 holes in the exact placement that relate to the holes in that housing to attach that onto the wall. And so what we'll do, this is an example I've already used the template for to cut out. This would be an example of your drywall wall. What you want to do is put that on the wall. You can use some drywall screws to anchor that on temporarily to hold that in the placement on the wall. Once you have that done, you'll take your self-centering bit on these 4 holes and drill those down to give you that point. You can also take a 1/4-inch hole bit and drill out these corners and take a pencil and mark out the opening. At that point, you can use a jigsaw to cut the hole out. My preferred method is to take a router with a bearing bit, and you can actually use the template to cut this exact hole pattern out. But however you want to do to cut the hole out, that's not too important. Once that hole is cut out, we'll take the template out of the way, take it back off the wall. And at that point, you'll want to install these little shims. So what I'm going to do is just lift this frame up so that I can mimic a wall here. So we want to take those and stick them up behind the drywall. And I like to just drill right through the drywall and just hold those on. You can put those screws anywhere on there other than the 4 holes that we pre-drilled out earlier that we're going to use later. Alright, now that we got the plywood behind there, take out a 3/32 inch drill bit and we'll continue to drill those holes down. Actually, I got the 3/32 in here already. Drill those holes all the way through the plywood. Like so. Alright, where's my frame? There's my frame. Here's my clips. So these are the clips we'll be sending you and the screws that hold those on there as well. And once you got the plywood little spacer blocks behind it, you'll drive those in. On the 4 holes. Got one thing we got to do here real quick. Let's put your metal housing on. So we'll take our metal housing, and before we drop that in, I'm also having to provide you with some spacer blocks which will go right over those 4 openings. And the reason for that, I'll explain in just a second. And you'll put those in there. Holes have already been pre-drilled through there. And now we'll drive these down with the housing on. When you're tightening these to the metal housing, you want the little clip to be horizontal. Once you're done tightening those up, you can kind of wiggle those to make sure they're all horizontal across there. And the reason we're lifting that up is that we're using a picture frame style. Around our frame, and we're going to need to have a little extra clearance here so when the frame snaps on, it will clear it. Back of the frame that we'll be sending, this is just an example of the frame, and there'll also be a picture frame around that. But for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to show you. There's 4 slots on the back of that. You'll center that over the monitor opening. Once you got it where you're looking down, you can see the black bezel around it. You'll clip those onto the wall. You need to remove the frame from the wall. You'll need to slide a spatula up behind it, because it's usually going to be a tight fit. We won't have this gap here with your example. You get it on the one side, you get that loose. You can then lift the frame off the wall. So that's about it for these. Like I said, we'll be providing you with the different shims and things like that, as well as the template to cut the hole in the wall, which is very important because these holes need to be in the exact placement that we just showed you how to do that. And once those are done correctly, it's really pretty simple to hang those on the wall. It goes really nice and quick. Thank you very much.